Simplified Chaos, episode 126.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hello, wonderful friends. Welcome to Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian, one of your hosts, and I'm with my cousin, my co-host. My co-host.
Yikes.
That's so weird. My co-host and husband sounded like cousin, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? I can assure you that I am Jilly's husband, not cousin, because that would be really weird. We've got another great episode here for you today. Jilly, what are we getting into?
The beauty of unplanning.
Yeah. We're getting back into that. I think we've talked about it before, but we just had another really good unplanning experience, so we figured we'd share it with you all today. But before we dive into that, as always, we love to show some gratitude before we get into our topic of discussion. So, Jilly, what are you grateful for this week?
Boy, so much to be grateful for.
Yeah.
I feel like if I am going to say something, you're going to say the exact same thing.
Most likely.
So maybe I won't, so that way I'll
Okay.
let you do it.
All right.
I will just be in real time. I am
Real time.
grateful for the lake that is Lake Monticello right next to us. It has been such a gift to just have this beautiful outdoor space that Lucille and I can spend hours of time, and she can play and explore, and I'm just by her side just as she discovers things for the first time. And it's just been so wonderful to actually have a place that we can walk to stick our toes in the sand and explore new things and creatures in the water, and have opportunities for play and just relaxation, as much as one can relax when watching a 3-year-old, at least for me. But
That's right.
It's been truly, truly so joyous to have that right there at our fingertips. So thank you to our surroundings.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, I am grateful for close friends visiting and checking out our new area, our new home. We had one of my closest friends and his wife come to town this past weekend, and they by far get the award for the longest distance travel if we were to ever give out an award for that. They came all the way from Copenhagen. Now, they didn't come just to see us. They obviously have family in this area, but it was nice of them to carve a couple of days out of their trip to not only rent a car, but drive down into our area and kind of check out the new digs and the area. And it was just an amazing couple of days. It was very chill. Like, we didn't go overboard and try to show them everything that the area had to offer, partly because we had a very long first night when they were here, and it took us a little while to get going the next day. However, it was nice just to have that slow time, just that one-on-one in-person connection with them, and just an amazing weekend. Lucille loved hanging out every moment, and it was just really special. So I'm just so glad that they were able to carve some time to come see us and check out the new spot. And I'm excited for us to hopefully travel to see them again in Copenhagen. And I know they're going to be back in America a couple more times, just for a couple events coming up here relatively soon. So we're going to do our best to see them. But yeah, just an amazing weekend, and which kind of led into some of the things that happened when we unplanned too. So yeah,
Great conversation and hangout time, and it's cool they got to see Lucille because they hadn't seen her in quite some time. So the fact that they got to see that she was actually a real person with a ton of personality and
goodness,
things to say was quite fun, seeing their reaction. And
yeah.
Thank you to Danny for perfecting our French press. I will say
Yeah.
he
was a scientist.
he has done many of the tests in Copenhagen to perfect the cup of coffee, and he did help us create even more perfect cup of coffee.
I mean, I thought our coffee was good before, but
I know.
yeah,
It's
just
even
a couple
smoother.
of small tweaks. It's amazing what the difference makes from just doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, awesome times. So glad to see them. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about unplanning here, Jilly.
Shall we? Okay, so what made me want to talk about this is our day. Man, was that Sunday?
It was Sunday, so 2 days
Sunday.
ago.
And I feel like a lot of our days are like this, but for some reason, that one, it just unfolded to some new experiences, which I'm always appreciative of. New surroundings and new adventures. Not saying that old isn't great, but it always opens my horizon and opens my perspective and just really makes me appreciate my life even more when I get to have those new golden moments. So Sunday was a very open day for us, and I don't know, this topic I feel like is my life at this point. I know yours is maybe a little bit different because you are
Slightly, but not really.
yeah, and I'm interested to hear your perspective as well, but I think just staying at home with Lucille, and because she's 3, and there's boundaries, but there's not a schedule by any means. It's more or less, we choose a direction and we let the day flow as it is, and that is how it makes my mind at ease. It may be uncomfortable sometimes because you're like, I don't have a filled day. I may not know what I'm doing next, but for some reason, it makes me a lot happier when I have that flexibility to flow with what Lucille says yes to, or what I say yes to, or what we say no to. So it always fascinates me to see what the path of the day is going to be based on our yeses or nos. And Sunday was one of those days where we just had all of this time, and the direction was we want to be outside, we want to go to a park. So to kind of like unfold our day for you guys, we decided to go to a park that is right by the river. I was like, we really want to plan on tubing or kayaking someday, and we heard about some really cool launch areas that we had yet to explore. So I was like, why don't we go to Riverview Park? Why don't we walk along the trail and see if we can spot out some really cool places where it looks safe to like launch out tubes or some kayaks in the future. So we did go walking and just exploring and just kind of seeing what was available to us there. And, we spotted a really cool little area that I had to like kind of walk and like look over this little hill just to like see. And there's this really cool little, I guess you call it quote unquote beach along the river that I was like, oh my God, Nick, this would be perfect for Lucille just to hang out. And it wasn't rocky at all. Like
no,
there were
nice
some
and
areas.
sandy.
Yeah. And we spent probably like a good half hour there just swimming and exploring the river and just kind of seeing the life that was on the river. Like there were some people that were kayaking and there was people that were tubing and just kind of being immersed in this new home environment that we have. It was just quite a magical time. And I was talking to somebody else today just about how, like, if it was just me or you, we would go on a path. We'd probably just be walking to walk. Like, we would still embrace and be like soaking in nature, but we would just stay on the path most likely. But because we have this lovely, curious 3-year-old and we know she thrives and needs that time to play and explore and touch and be hands-on, it's like, to me, it forces us to be even more curious, to kind of like spot out places where we can just be for a while and just really allow her to explore in a safe area instead of just always moving.
Right.
She forces us to be still more often. So it's nice. This is a really long rant to start us off. Sorry, Nick, if it's too long.
No, you're painting the picture.
Yeah, it's nice to have that time to flow and the unplanning schedule to just be for as long as we feel necessary, and if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, we had, like you said, no plans for that day except for, we wanted to get Lucille out to a park. She had hung out with us the day before and kind of did what we wanted to do, even though she does what she wants to do whenever she wants to do it, no matter the situation that she's in. So it was nice to, like you said, go to the park and try to seek out areas that she would like. I know she was really fixated on going right into the water as we got to the park, or going right to the playground, and we needed to have some distractions as far as like, hey, let's go check out this path, and we're gonna find another beach down somewhere, which we did. And she was all curious about it, but at the same time, she's a 3-year-old and sometimes she'll be a little impatient. So we had to kind of figure out ways to keep her patient so that we can continue to explore. And then when we did find that nice little opening and that nice little beach where there's nobody else around, if we would have went in the other area, it would probably have been a little crowded. But like, it was just nice to kind of have that little beach to ourselves and kind of do our thing for that half an hour that we were in the water. But then like kind of the rest of the day wasn't planned either at that point. And we worked our way back to the park, and we had like a late breakfast. I guess not a too late of a breakfast, but a late-ish breakfast. And I was starting to get a little hungry. And it was just like an odd time. It's like that time between lunch and dinner where you can go and have maybe a small bite to eat and then, plan for, a decent dinner. Or you can just go all in and have like a big lunch and and then maybe nibble on something a little bit later for dinner. And we kind of had the idea to get a sandwich to split so that we can do dinner. And we kind of had that plan. And the place that we wanted to get the sandwich from threw us a little curveball. And we had to adapt. So they weren't serving sandwiches after a certain time, which is fine. That's what they do. So it was just like, okay, well, there was this place we wanted to really check out. And we even had reservations for the night before with our friends who were in town. But we had such a long day outside that we were just kind of ready to call it, a day, pick up some food and come back to the house. So we canceled our reservation for this place and, picked up something else. So like you had the idea, Jill, let's go check out Tonic and this really cool menu that they have and cocktails. And we're like, yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and do that. So we drove over to the place and sat down and just immediately fell in love with the ambiance and the service. And then our appetizer and drinks came out, and holy crap.
I was growling and making noises probably the whole time. It's just between like the patio seating and just the aesthetics of the place. Even walking inside, it was just like, man, this is so rad. Like this fits, I guess it paints the scene that I would love to be in. And
yeah.
The food was just so fresh, so local. Like they source from farms near the area. Like the cocktails were like fucking on point. And I don't know, just the whole, like, the build up to that was just like, we had this amazing start to our morning. We get outside, we're like swimming in the river, and then we're here in a patio, like our little tripod, just like having Lucille's on the phone because she's just like,
well, she wasn't the whole time, but
no, but it was just, even that, like, to me, it was just a perfect moment. Like Lucille was chilling, getting her like technology time. We could have time to just kind of like soak in the place we were in and just appreciate the moment. And it was so good that, and it makes me think about like this day being a kind of an analogy for life. Like there's going to be a lot of decisions you have to make, and there's going to be decisions made for you. Like, for example, the no for our cafe that we usually go to for sandwiches. They're like, yeah, there's a no there.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice in that. So it makes me appreciate even more when there are doors that are shut on me that I didn't choose, just to like feel the flow and kind of like savor that and appreciate that, because it makes me realize that decision was not the decision for me in that moment, and just to be creative and how it can lead to just beautiful things and new experiences. And after we were done that lunch, you're like, why don't we stop and get some coffee? And because the accessibility of where we were, it was like in walking distance to the walking mall downtown in Charlottesville. We like got out, we walked down. I mean, we even found some more areas to play in along the way because, you know, Lucille sees these ramps and stairs. And even though she fell, like, she still had an awesome time. And we just kind of, you know, got to enjoy the walking mall as, you know, the night was starting to come to an end, and just get really good coffee there and make our way back. And I don't know, the day was just so magical how it unfolded, and it just makes me really appreciate the fact that we don't have a schedule. We just choose a direction, and it most likely always aligns to what we value. And I think that's what helps us make decisions easier in the moment. Even though it may seem chaotic, like you don't know what's next. It's like, it makes it easier knowing, like, this is what we value. So either we know when it's a yes and we know when it's a no, like in all things in life. But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
like,
I mean, there was definitely like a moment there when things could have gone differently. Like, I know when the sandwich place wasn't serving sandwiches, I was kind of thrown off, and I was just like, all right, I have no idea what I want to do at this point. Like, we had something kind of set, or at least a plan that we were rolling into motion, and we had to pivot. And it kind of took me a few minutes of just kind of, do I want to do this place? And you suggested another place, and I'm just like, kind of looking around, and I was like, you know what, let's just go with the flow. Let's go with the place that you originally said that we should go to. And I'm glad I, you know, dropped all those reservations that I had, because it ended up being awesome. And then the rest of the day panned out really well too. You know, after Lucille scraped her leg coming down the ramp, you know, we got our coffee and then headed home. And, you know, it was like, I want ice cream and a Band-Aid. And it's like, all right, cool. And then, you know, put on a movie and all that stuff. So like, it was just, the day unfolded perfectly. Went out for an evening walk, which was awesome. That too could have been cut short if we would have listened to Lucille fully, because she was ready to go home. But then we stumbled on the path, and she had fun running on it, and we were able to get her back on the path again. And then we saw her friend outside and hung out with, talked to them for a few minutes. So like, it's just funny how like these little changes in direction help guide us through that day and really make the most of it.
Yeah, and I guess it really helps having a partner that is flexible and willing to like let go of, like you said, certain reservations or ideas or expectations of what you think is going to be. So I appreciate that so much, and you kind of letting me lead the day sometimes and picking things. And
well, you know best, baby. I'm always going to roll with you.
No, but I think it's, you know, there's a lot of things unsaid that we lean into because we both know each other's strengths. And I know we talked about that before, and usually my strength is finding pretty good food.
Hell yeah.
So I know, and I just
tip of the cap to you on that one.
I just appreciate you. Like, I know you were perplexed. I know it doesn't help when you're like really hungry. You're like, what do I do? This is like in real life. Like, you can get to a certain point where you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want anymore. I want a decision made. So, you know, it's nice having a partner kind of help step up to the plate and like make those decisions based on what we value together and see what unfolds. But
yeah, no, it ended up being a beautiful day, and I'm glad we were able to go with the flow. Like, I don't know, I had something.
Oh God.
Yeah, nope, never mind.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Queens of the Stone Age. Go with the flow.
Again, I don't know unless you sing the song.
It's a good song.
You gonna
Check
sing
it out. Nope.
Damn it, Nick.
Nope, not gonna do it today.
Oh man.
Anything else, Jilly?
That was it, really. I just wanted to reflect on that. I feel like there was just so much good that day, and I don't know, this is a fun exercise that I could see, like, if anyone else just had a really good day, just to acknowledge it. And I think we've talked about that before.
Unplanned day.
Just to acknowledge like those moments that make just fill your life up so much, and just to share them, and just, I guess it makes it motivational to like want to do it again. Like, already I'm like, yes, more unplanned days.
Yeah.
You know, just how beautifully it can unfold. And sometimes it can unfold and you be not so favorable, but also it's like so many things you can learn and appreciate when you do have those really great days. It's like, you know what, it is what it is. It is happening for a reason. And I don't know, it just helps my mindset just stay even more open and ready for chaos.
Absolutely. We simplified that shit.
Oh, yes.
Do you have any resources for our listeners today, Jilly?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome.
So I listened to a podcast today that I thought related a lot. It was the Goop podcast.
Goop.
And Gwyneth Paltrow was chatting with Alicia Keys.
Oh.
And it was so beautiful. And she had so many like nuggets of her wisdom just about life. And there were a lot of things. I took down notes as I was walking just that related to our topic now. So I just wanted to read you kind of like my interpretation of some of the things Alicia Keys said, because I kind of put it in my own words, but to me it relates so well. Okay. She chatted about just letting yourself dream, following your wants, creating your own path, celebrating often, honoring the difficult, praising the mysterious, and always believe that what will unfold for you will be outstandingly sensational. Allow life to surprise you. That is what makes it so magical. And I like this. Be confident in your imperfection. And she was really talking about just as not only the physical, but I guess, well, mostly the physical, how just to appreciate her body. But when I think about that, like just being confident in our decisions, like that, to know that they're not going to be perfect all the time,
Right.
but just to be confident that like I made that yes for a reason, and just to find the reason why. I don't know. I really like that, how it kind of relates. Also, we move and run just because, there's still movement and progress in stillness. She was just relating to her life and what the pandemic had taught her. And she said that she was so busy that she forgot the importance of being still and just surrendering to the falsity that we know what's going to happen to us. I think just letting that go, that we don't know what's going to happen. And then just kind of, I don't know, we're kind of the driver, but just letting life flow based on the decisions that make sense to us. So I just thought it was a very beautiful episode. If anyone has time, there are so many other great things that she says.
Definitely sounds like she dropped some knowledge.
She dropped some knowledge.
Yeah. She talked about how she keeps on falling in and out of love with you.
It just makes me want to go back and listen to some of her songs, because I haven't listened to her jams in quite some time. And Gwyneth Paltrow was like saying her top 3, and she was talking about some kind of like ultimate breakup song. And I'm like, I don't know if I've heard this one. So now I want to.
It's been a while since I listened
back
to some
and-
Alicia Keys, so
I know.
I may partake with you if you'll allow it.
No, let's have an Alicia Keys jam out there. I think
Hell
that'd be
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow over dinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah. Awesome. No, that sounds great. So check that podcast out as well. All right, Jilly, how about that quote of the day?
Quote of the day is from me, baby.
Oh, a Jilly original.
Yes. Savor the slow and the beauty will flow.
A giginal.
A giginal.
A Jilly original.
Oh, gosh.
I was trying to think of something clever.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. And your take action challenge is?
Allow for more unplanned, beautiful moments to unfold.
Because life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Boom.
Forrest Gump. I just dropped an impromptu quote of the day.
I was like, Nick, you should have took over.
Hell yeah. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this episode, please do us a favor and help us spread the message. You can do this by writing a review or simply by sharing this episode with a friend. And remember, folks, sharing sparks a conversation. Conversation leads to action, and action is how we're able to live a happy and intentional as hell lifestyle. We want to thank you all for listening this week, and we will see you again next week.
See y'all later.